Today, we're talking about a little blue pill that pretty much everyone has heard of. It didn't just change medicine, it completely changed culture. You know it as Viagra, but its scientific name is Sildenafil. And its story, well, it's one of the most fascinating accidents in all of modern science.
But what if I told you that the most famous pill on the planet was never ever meant to do what it's famous for? Because that's exactly what happened. All right, let's get into this incredible story of scientific luck.
So here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with that accidental discovery, then we'll dive into the science of how it actually works. After that, we'll look at how this one drug treats two completely different conditions, cover the really important safety stuff, and then we'll wrap it all up with the big picture.
So, where did this all start? Well, it wasn't in a lab trying to treat erectile dysfunction. No, it all began with a search for a new heart medication. This timeline really shows the wild ride this drug has been on. So back in the late 80s, Pfizer was testing sildenafil for angina. That's a type of chest pain from a heart condition. But by the early 90s, the clinical trials were, well, they were a flop. It just wasn't working for the heart. But then the researchers started noticing that male participants were reporting a very consistent and very unexpected side effect. Pfizer, seeing a massive opportunity, completely pivoted their research. By 1998, Viagra got the green light. And believe it or not, the story didn't stop there. In 2005, it got approved for a totally different purpose, treating a serious lung condition.
So, how on earth does one drug do all of this? The answer is all about the science of blood flow. It's kind of like hijacking the body's natural go and stop signals. Let's break that down. First up, let's meet the go signal. It's a molecule called CMGP. Basically, when your body needs to ramp up blood flow to a specific area, it makes CMGP. Just think of it like a green light that tells the muscles in your blood vessels, hey, relax, open up.
Of course, that green light can't stay on forever, right? That's where the stop signal comes in. It's an enzyme called PDE5, and it's the body's natural off switch. Its entire job is to go around and break down the CGMP, which makes the blood vessels tighten up again and reduces blood flow. This is a totally normal, healthy process.
Okay, so here's where sildenafil jumps in. It all starts with stimulation. That triggers the go signal, CGMP, and blood flow increases. Now, normally, that stop signal, PDE5, would immediately get to work breaking down CGMP. But sildenafilin's one and only job is to block that stop signal. It physically gets in the way of PDE5. So, it doesn't create the go signal, it just prevents the stop signal from working, which lets that go signal last way longer and have a much stronger effect.
And that exact same mechanism, controlling blood flow by blocking the stop signal, is precisely why sildenafil can treat two completely unrelated conditions. It all just depends on where in the body you want that effect to happen.
This chart really lays out the two different lives of sildenafil. On one hand, you've got Viagra. Here, the target is the blood vessels in the penis. The goal is to get and maintain an erection, and you take it as needed. But on the other hand, you have Revatio. With Revatio, the target is the blood vessels in the lungs. The goal is to treat a really serious high blood pressure condition called pulmonary arterial hypertension. To do that, it's not taken as needed. It's taken on a strict 3 times a day schedule to constantly keep that pressure down and ease the strain on the heart. It's the same drug, just used in 2 totally different ways.
Now, since sildenafil works by widening blood vessels, it probably won't surprise you that the most common side effects are just that same process happening in other parts of the body. The most common side effects are pretty much what you'd expect. Things like headaches or facial flushing, that's from blood vessels widening in your head, or a stuffy nose for the same reason. Some people also report indigestion or muscle aches. And then there's that famous one, a temporary visual effect where things might look a little blue or green. The good news is, for most people, these are pretty mild and they don't last long.
Okay, we need to shift gears for a second and get really serious. This is not some party drug. It is a powerful prescription medication, and there are some absolutely critical, non-negotiable rules for using it safely.
I really can't say this strongly enough. There's one class of drugs that you must never, ever, under any circumstances, mix with sildenafil.
The number one most important rule, never ever mix sildenafil with nitrates. These are drugs often prescribed for chest pain, like nitroglycerin. The combination can cause a sudden, catastrophic drop in your blood pressure, and it can absolutely be fatal. It's a strict contraindication. A few other serious risks to be aware of. Priapism, which is an erection that lasts for more than 4 hours. If that happens, it's a true medical emergency, and you need to get help immediately.
And finally, if you have a heart condition that makes sexual activity itself unsafe for you, then this drug is not an option. You have to talk to a doctor.
So let's zoom out and pull this all together. What are the most important things to remember about this drug and its incredible story?
The first, and maybe the biggest takeaway, is a major mythbuster. Sildenafil does not create desire. It is not an aphrodisiac. It only works if sexual stimulation is already present. All it does is enhance the body's natural response. It helps a process along. It absolutely does not start one from scratch.
And the second big takeaway is all about using it responsibly. This is a prescription-only medication for a reason. A doctor needs to screen you for those dangerous interactions we just talked about. Self-medicating or buying pills from some sketchy website is a huge gamble with your health, because counterfeit products can be useless or even contain harmful ingredients. And of course, it's just important to remember, this is a treatment for a physical mechanism. It does absolutely nothing to protect against STIs.
The story of sildenafil is just such a powerful reminder that sometimes the biggest breakthroughs don't come from a grand plan. They come from a failed experiment, a surprising side effect, and scientists who are clever enough to see an opportunity. It really makes you wonder, what's the next accident out there that's just waiting to change all of our lives? Thanks for joining me.